What's up, homegirls? Welcome to the Wiped Up in Real Life podcast, and we are back with another one. My name is Anissa.
I'm Cami.
And I'm Elena. This is a podcast where three wives come together and discuss life while keeping it 100. Today, we will discuss scorekeeping versus a balanced atmosphere in a relationship. We're going to start with the hot take for all of us. What's the most petty tit for tat get back you've displayed in a relationship?
So I think mine was like more recently and kind of tying back into last week's podcast. I would stop doing the dishes because I was getting annoyed with like if there was any like if he would do them in between like I was doing them and then there was stuff stuck on it. So I just stopped doing them in hopes that he would like realize that there was stuff stuck to them. And when he didn't, I would just put them back into the sink from the dishwasher just to like rewash them again.
Dang, that's tit for tat, because I do that too. Oops.
Is that really petty? I like a clean dish.
That's what I'm saying. Like, excuse me if I don't want yesterday's crumbs on today's dinner. Like, dang. I think if I have to pick one, I'm not gonna lie, I think I do mine like every day. But if y'all know anything about Missouri, specifically Kansas City, the water system is horrible, right? So I'm not drinking no faucet water. So we have a Brita in the refrigerator. So if he empties the Brita and he like puts it down in his Stanley and there's no more water left, I do the exact same thing. If I have to die of dehydration, you're about to die of the same thing as well. So if he don't fill it up, I don't fill it up. So I keep score. I'm like, did he fill it up last time? No. So I'm not going to fill it up. There was even one time where I think there was still enough water in it and I still emptied the rest in the sink and then put it back in the refrigerator.
Now that's
Do you
petty.
know,
That's
you know how much
petty.
time it takes to fill those up? Do you know how much time it takes?
You just got to
You
put
just
it
gotta-
under there and walk away.
Literally.
Nope,
And be like,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I just left my water running. Now I have a $45 bill. Oh yeah? No.
Takes
No.
2 seconds.
You can afford it.
You right. You right. Still not doing it though. Still not doing it though.
For me, mine is gas in the cars. So my husband will run off of $10 in gas every single day versus just putting the whole 50 in there on Monday morning, right? Then when the weekend comes, I still got half a tank left and he like, let's take that car because mine is on E. Well, now I'm gonna come home on Friday with no gas. Now how we gonna get anywhere? So I stopped putting full tanks in the car towards the end of the week. If it's Thursday and I need gas, well, take this little $10, $15 because you ain't wasting my gas money this weekend.
Hey, I'm not mad at that though, because the gas prices nowadays, nah,
Baby,
nah,
in Florida,
nah.
No.
no thanks. All
So I
right.
mean, on a tit for tat standpoint, like, what do we think causes these reactions out of us? Like, why are we like this, ladies? Why do we do these things?
I just feel like revenge, like,
hmm
gotta get back at you. But what do you think leads to that type of behavior overall? Right off the bat, when you guys get in a relationship, you don't just automatically, okay, let's move in together and you do this, I'll do this, you do this. So what do you think leads to this scorekeeping behavior where you guys kind of keep tally in the back of your head and think about who does what and things like that?
I mean, I think if you operate on a conditional standpoint, I think that is like a really big indicator of tit for tat. Like,
Yeah.
because for me, if I like a clean house, then I should keep a clean house no matter what, right? I'm not gonna only keep the kitchen clean if he kept it clean, or if I like water and I like keeping a fridge upfilled with clean water. I'm not gonna only do that based off of him doing that. So I think when we have that conditional mindset, then that's like the biggest thing to me. I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you guys think?
I definitely think like especially for those who haven't lived together and don't necessarily like once they do move in, you know, if you've never lived with somebody, I think it's definitely hard to have like a structure. And I think in the meantime of trying to find that structure, you're often, doing too many things that you don't like doing, or you're kind of getting annoyed in that aspect, and you've like asked them to do something, but you don't know how they necessarily live. Like, until you find that like common ground and structure, I think you're always going to have that tit for tat in the beginning stage.
Yeah, and I think you made a good point, like with doing tasks you don't like, because at the end of the day, if you feel like you're doing more of what you don't like, maybe you feel like you're compromising and the other
Hmm.
person is not equally compromising to make the wheels turn how they're supposed to. And that could
Hmm.
just frustrate you and make you just like, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. So if it doesn't get done, then we're going to have roaches or whatever
Yes.
the case may be. So
Yeah.
I definitely agree. And especially, I think it goes into that conditionality you were talking about too. Is like, under
Hmm.
this condition, I'll do it. But if you don't do your part, I'm not going to do my part. So,
Right.
But I mean, I think you have to have equal responsibility. Because, like last week, we talked about having that responsibility in their relationship and knowing that your partner may not be able to always bring that 100% to the table as far as roles go. But if you live together, you have to look at the house as okay, we both have to put into this, we're both in charge of this.
Hmm.
So if I want the house to be maintained, then I'm just going to do the things to maintain it no matter what. And I mean, newsflash, do you really think you're about to always only do tasks that you want to do? No.
right.
No.
Like, you're gonna have to be okay being uncomfortable sometimes. Like, yeah, you gotta scrub the toilet. You may have to do some crawling to get under some things. Like, you just gonna have to get down with that.
Going back to our episode last week, we talked about open communication. And sometimes when you try to have those conversations with your spouse, like, hey, I've been doing the dishes every single day for 2 weeks. Could we
Hmm.
like alternate days? And your spouse is just like, well, I take the trash out. Well, I do this. Well, I do that. And it's kind of
Mm.
like, well, I'm trying to bring to your attention that I'm sick of doing this. And if you
Right.
don't want to help, it's not going to get done. And we're going to have to be
Yeah.
buying paper plates and plastic cups. So um,
Yep.
Yeah.
definitely like just being defensive again is something we've already talked about when it
Hmm.
comes to tasks and chores and things around the house could definitely lead to that scorekeeping behavior.
So, I mean, do you guys think it should be more common? Like, if you're gonna live with someone, do you think you should move in and kind of be intentional and sit down and have a conversation like, hey, I'm comfortable doing X, Y, and Z. Maybe you may be better at excelling at X, Y, and Z. Like, do you think that
Hmm.
like things should be assigned? Like people should have roles in their task in the house, or do you feel like, just getting where you fit in, pitch in wherever? Like, what do you think would be more conducive?
I personally feel like you should definitely have that intentional conversation to avoid, your less arguments, especially like in the beginning stages of living with somebody in a marriage, anything along those lines, because you want to set yourself up for success. And I feel like having those conversations really helps determine, okay, I personally like doing this, this, and this, and this. Like my husband is a clean freak. So like I knew that our house, he's just gonna see something and he's just gonna take it over. So like I've had that conversation like, okay, you like making sure our laundry is put away and that there's no clothes on the floor. Perfect. You do that. I can handle the dishes. I will do the like cooking, doing stuff like that. Like let's see what we can do and split it down evenly to make sure that we do have the even amount of task.
See, and I feel like with me and my husband, like he's more of a, surface cleaner. Like he sees things, like he
Mm.
can see that the dishes are dirty, or he can see the laundry's on the floor. He needs to pick it up. But me, I can see that there's like dust or dirt behind something, or I can think, okay, well, when's the last time we moved the couch and kind of like swept and
Right.
vacuumed under there? So I let him do the surface cleaning and I do the deep cleaning. That way we kind of split it up.
I think it's
So,
difficult though to have that conversation that early in a relationship though, because if you think about it, like
Hmm.
think about when you guys first moved in together, like things are pretty much peaches and cream those first couple months, right? You don't
Right.
really think about about like I don't know. I feel like a lot of times at the beginning of the move-in stage, people are trying to
Hmm.
maintain themselves to a level of like, oh, I don't want her to leave me because I stink and my drawers got dookie stains on the floor. So I'm gonna make sure I put them in the basket. But then, you get comfortable, and 3, 4, 5 months later, it's kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, I'm tired. Like, stuff comes up, and you're not perfect. Like, you're gonna fall behind on stuff. So, I think that
Right.
having that conversation is important. But a lot of times, it doesn't happen in the early stages of the relationship
Yeah.
or
But
the moving
yeah,
stage.
yeah. And I mean, that's true. But I feel like, I don't know. I'm just noticing that I don't think a lot of people are super intentional about how they want their
Mm-hmm.
relationship to look like down the line. And you got to realize that the way you started is the way that you ended. So
Yep.
if you want your relationship to have some type of flow, then you have to establish that at the beginning. You can't start the relationship off lazy and then all of a sudden ask somebody to be their most productive self. Like
Right.
they're gonna be like, okay, well, I'm not used to that, or oh, I didn't know you required that, or how do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to be intentional with that conversation early on, but that's also another level of maturity that a lot of
Yeah.
people lack as well. So some people they just want the relationship, but they don't want everything that comes with it, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
intention and the work. So I don't know.
How about this is a good question. How long do you think it takes after moving in together to get to that scorekeeping stage?
Mm.
Ooh,
I'd probably say like 6 months.
It didn't take us that long. He was tired of sweeping that floor every day after work. So I
see,
know you seen that noodle on the floor last night. Why you didn't pick
yeah.
it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know the honeymoon phase like is a thing, but I feel like I've had like honeymoon phases like when I was younger to where now I'm just like, like there's no
Mm-hmm.
point in doing it. Like immediately, I'm like, pick up your shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
this ain't gonna work.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like Kimmy, yeah, I do see a lot, it kind of about 6 months, but I feel like once you get to a point of kind of knowing what to expect, kind of having that assumption of
Mhm.
how this may go, you kind of nip that in the bud pretty early on. Because I just feel
Yeah.
like people build habits, and I would rather struggle at the beginning, being very
Mm-hmm.
nitpicky about those habits, than trying to ask you to be a version of yourself that I previously accepted. Because I feel
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's harder.
100%. That's a great point. So what do you think about how scorekeeping changes the flow? Like going tit for tat, obviously doesn't work for everyone. Now you can say,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple people can say, no, we keep score. We have a chore list. We check them off every week. But that's not something I see from grown adults. So,
Yeah.
how does that behavior change the flow of the relationship down the line?
You are very quickly and easily easing your relationship into a toxic one.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there is nothing healthy about your relationship if you're continuously going to scorekeep. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, me personally, if my partner was continuously scorekeeping with me, that would make me want to rebel against him. And I just
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want to do the task even more now. Like, you know what? I really didn't have a problem doing that, but now that you're watching me, now I'm really not
I
gonna do
don't want
it.
to. Yeah.
Do y'all
Yeah.
ever like be in your head like, all right, I'm about to cut my toenails, vacuum the carpet, and then do the dishes. And then your partner walks in like, are you ever going to do the dishes like you said you were? Well, now
Mm.
I'm not doing shit. I'm clipping my toenails and I'm taking a nap. Okay.
Literally.
Exact.
That was just me.
Exactly.
That just happened today. Like I walk into the kitchen and Jalen goes, "Don't forget to do the dirty dishes." I see him. They will get done. Now I don't want to do them. What do you mean? Like, calm down. Can I relax for 2 seconds? Like,
You know,
gosh.
unfortunately, I have to say I think I'm on the opposite end of that. I know that I'm constantly over Keith's shoulder, like, hey, don't forget
Mm,
to, or hey, do this, or hey, do it like that. And he's kind of gotten into the habit of just saying okay and walking away. But I
smart
know
man.
deep down I'm really upsetting him. Like, because then he's like, yeah, I was just about to do it. I'm like, oh, all right, I don't want no smoke. I'm just letting you know, like, don't forget. Like, I'm sure you
Yeah.
were about to do it, but I wasn't like, you ain't gotta do it now. I wasn't pressuring you. Take your time, but just don't forget. So,
Mhm.
because people can be forgetful. Like you can do one task and forget the whole flow, what you was about to do next. So
Yeah,
I'm
and
just trying to help.
I think that it changes the flow also by creating like a power struggle or like competition, or even just
Mhm.
like maybe like you said, you're the partner that's always kind of like, don't forget, don't forget. It's like, damn, are you my mama? Like, can I live? I moved out of
Right.
there because she was telling me this every 5 minutes. So it kind of
Mm-hmm.
creates that
Yeah.
awkward balance where it's like, am I answering to my partner, or are
Mhm.
we, you know, jointly living together to, make this work? So I
Right.
don't know, how to put it in the words of, we here to get the job done, not to
Mhm.
nitpick the dishes and, cleaning off the countertops,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, I'm just trying to help make sure the house keeps structure. Like, I'm not trying to micromanage you, I promise. But, and
Mhm.
I feel like that kind of ties into, like learning how to not be single anymore because I'm used to knowing the flow of my own house. I'm used to having my
Right.
own checklist and my own schedule. So trying to like incorporate someone else into that might make it seem a little controlling or like you said, that power struggle.
Mhm.
I agree. And I think it's
Same.
also harmful to the relationship, right? Because
Yeah.
um, bickering is never something that is gonna help create that stable foundation, as you said earlier.
Yeah. But do you think you can kind of grow out of that? Like, do you think there's some level of, I don't know, like awareness when it comes to that? Or do you think you see it commonly where someone says, you know what, maybe we're not really flowing correctly, or maybe
Mhm.
you're not trying to be controlling, maybe you're just trying to help us stay organized as a whole.
I think after a certain amount of arguments, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, am I intentionally doing this? Am I harmfully doing this? Like, what is like the goal of this? And like, how do I communicate it? And I think it comes from like a lot of arguments, unfortunately, to be like, okay, I need to either take a step back and allow them to have that space to do it. And if it doesn't get done, then be like, hey, communicate like, hey, I've allowed this space for this to happen. This unfortunately hasn't happened. Therefore, we need to figure this out and how can we flow better? Or like them expressing like, hey, I feel like you're nitpicking, nagging too much, like anything along those lines, but also allowing a safe space to not be defensive and attack right back.
Yeah, but I mean, so that I'm stuck on the whole like being defensive and like attacking back because I feel like even I do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I feel like as soon as someone's even like borderline about to start telling me that I might not be doing something correctly or on their timeline, I'm like, well, what do you mean? Okay, what are you trying to do here?
What are you trying to say, really?
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question. Do y'all think this is petty? You ask your partner to add stuff to the grocery list when one, we run out, or two, it's just something they want, and they never add nothing. So then when you come back from the grocery store, they don't have what they want, and it's like, did you put it on the list? Knowing, of course, you want berry punch. It's your favorite juice, but you didn't put it on the list.
But I said put it on the list.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
So, no. You
I do all of our grocery shopping, so like I just make sure like, hey, do you need this? If not, order it on your own time if
mm,
you want it.
well, you know what? I'll do you one better. Let me know if this is petty. Since Cammy mentioned, her doing all the grocery shopping, I do all the grocery shopping too. And I usually ask Keith, like, hey, like, are there any snacks or anything you want from the store? He'll
Mhm.
say, no, like, no, I'm good. Lo and behold, he gets one of my snacks in his hand. And I take it right back out. Because what are you doing? You didn't ask for
That's
no
petty.
snacks. How is
That's
that petty?
petty.
Look, I wanted snacks, so I got my snacks. I gave him the opportunity. How's that petty?
Because this
I'm
is
right there
petty.
with you. I'm with you because
That's
if
what
you say you
I'm
don't
saying.
want no snacks and I got me a box of honey buns and I come home and there's two honey buns left, I'm gonna be pissed.
But for real though,
See,
like it does run that deep. Like I wanted the snacks that I wanted, and now you biting off of my stuff? No.
see, I've had it to where Jalen bought me snacks and then started eating them himself. And I'm like, I thought they were for me. And he's like, well, I've only had a few. Half this box is gone. I've had one. What do you mean? You've only had a few.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
that's what irritates me, and then that's what makes me be petty to be like, no, I don't want to buy you any snacks because you intentionally bought me some and then ate them all. Like,
It gets worse
no.
when there are kids around because then they're like, well, he had them with his lunch yesterday and he
Oh.
ate 3 bags. So you're telling me this 2-year-old ate 3 bags of chips in one day? That's what you're saying right now?
See,
So that's why all the Cheeto Puffs are gone.
see what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm glad to know that that's a universal experience because Keith was talking about, oh, I can't wait to steal Amina snacks. No, you're not. I'm
No, he
locking
will.
them up.
He will steal
Stealing
them.
snacks from a kid is
No, that's what I'm
crazy.
saying. Like, why do you have Amina's gushers? That does not make sense. Those are for her.
Listen, babe, you're not going to win that argument. If it's there,
Oh,
they're going to eat it.
no,
Hmm.
I will lock it up. I will hide it. I do not care.
I
I don't care if I have to hide a box of gushers with the cleaning supplies. I'm going to hide it.
Cleaning supplies.
It sucks that he's sitting right next to me because we had some we we had some Welch's fruit snacks, okay?
Hmm.
And they weren't getting eaten, right? Because it's not their favorite. So I bought the kind they like, but I put them in the back of the pantry behind the big box of chips. And then one day I see him like, look what I found. I'm like, you found those? Oh, can I have one?
Wow. So you just tried to discreetly hide them, then you had to play ignorant when you.
But they were eating them other fruit snacks for about a week and a half till they found them.
I believe in hiding them. You know what? I'm gonna start putting them behind my books on the bookshelf. Matter of fact,
Behind
I'm,
the
I'm
books is crazy. You better not
gonna
forget
just do
about him.
that. He ain't gonna go there. That's the best place to hide them.
He's hearing this conversation now. He said behind the books.
So what do you think like your man's topic would be of, you know, for us it's okay, I'm buying the groceries and you say you don't want nothing, now you're eating all the snacks. How do you think they would flip that on us?
I
Well,
asked you, what did you want to eat? And you said you didn't want anything. And then when I gave a suggestion, you declined all of them.
mine would be Jalen loves saying this, and I hate it every time he says it. He goes, "Well, closed mouths don't get fed." Okay, I see how we're gonna play today.
I'd be like, keep that
Like,
same energy. Keep the same.
Right.
yeah, because especially like if he orders food or something and doesn't ask me, how dare you? We live in the same household.
Oh,
Like you
Keith
couldn't
has
have
never
said.
done that.
I
And
wish
I'm like, okay, okay. So then it's like, oh, but if I cook dinner, you expect some. Closed mouths don't get fed, baby. Maybe I should only make a single serving to be petty.
here we go. This is why we chat.
I was about to say, because even when
Sounds
I
very
make
much
breakfast,
like
I be,
scorekeeping.
yeah, you can't be doing that, Kimmy. What's wrong with you?
Oh, wait a second. I don't disagree now. If you order food for lunch, but I'm
And in the
supposed to
same
cook dinner,
household.
I'm cooking dinner
Right.
for myself, baby.
But listen, I don't know. Maybe I feel like that is an intentional decision. Like that just there's so much intent behind that to where I don't have it. Like I can't do that. I feel like that's making a statement if I
For
just
me,
intentionally only cook for myself.
I'm like, okay, I'll cook enough, but I'm not making you a plate. Make your own.
Okay. I can
See, I be thinking these in my head, and then I'll be like, no, I'm still gonna make him a plate. Like, I'm too nice. But in my
but you
head, I'm
just
like, you ain't eating.
see, listen, I'll cook the meal, I'll make the plate, but if it's chicken, I just burn one side of it. If it's his. I just I'm like,
I don't know
damn,
why he
babe, my
got burnt.
bad. I
I'll
was
just,
multitasking. Mina was crying, and I'm sorry. My bad.
I'll be like, I'll cook a whole meal and then be like, "You hungry? All right." Make the plate, leave it on the counter, and walk away.
Mm-hmm. Or make his plate, let it sit on the counter and get cold for a little bit, then give it to him.
Mm.
For some
Because he don't
reason,
be
that
knowing when
doesn't.
the food's ready.
For some reason, that doesn't bother my husband. He'll eat
Ah,
a
Oh,
little of
that would bother Jalen so bad if I did that. He's like, I
my
can't
food
eat
has
it
to
cold.
burn my mouth.
mine
Hmm.
too.
Yes, I gotta, I
Literally.
gotta do that.
I,
Mm-hmm. Like I
Yep.
better be breathing fire.
Yeah.
So my food gotta be hot. But I mean, so, thinking about these questions in these situations, what do you guys think is the difference between like punishment and accountability? Because it sounds like all of our reactions are punishment. But what are we really teaching them in these moments? Like,
Hmm.
how can you do that? Because I feel like, you just need to have that open line of communication and kind of talk about it rather than reacting, right? And I
Hmm.
also feel like you need to not internalize their decision. Like Cammy, maybe there's a reason why Jalen only ordered food for himself. Maybe he already saw you eating lunch and he didn't think you wanted anything. Okay, hypothetically speaking. All right. But still, though, like, I feel like, at least me, I internalize a lot. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like if someone, like, if Keith makes a decision, I'm thinking it's intentionally to go against me.
mm.
So if he, let's say, if he would have ordered food, I'm like, so you don't care about my well-being? You don't care
That's what I
about
say.
me eating? Yeah. But maybe he was just like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. Like, you said your stomach was hurting, or, oh, like, you
Hmm.
said, you were busy, or didn't really have an appetite. Like, well, some fries would have been nice. Like,
Literally.
some
But
light.
we were talking about changing the flow of the relationship, and you brought up creating that kind of punishing behavior versus
Hmm.
accountability type of behavior, and I think that kind of ties in with like a conditional giving slash passive aggressiveness, or
Hmm.
passive aggression,
Yeah.
use English. um, and I think that a lot of times you don't even think about it as, oh, I'm punishing them, but it's just like, I wouldn't do that to you. So
Are
why
you
are
doing it
we,
to me? Yeah.
And
why do I
that
have to go through
is
this?
exactly. And that's a driving emotion that I feel like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to being in any situation with anybody. The only time I ever get upset with people is when someone does something to me that I would never do to them. Like, I would not
Yeah.
think like that. I would not act like that. I would not have done that to you. So, how could you do that to me? And that's where I start to give negative reactions. That's where I start to punish. And then that's where you build a negative relationship. So
Hmm.
I feel like you have to be able to have the will to not really educate someone, but have the patience to almost like teach them how to communicate with you, teach them how to be with you or interact with you. Because they're doing something that they very well could have thought is not a big deal, but it could have been a big deal to you. So that's open
Yeah.
communication.
And also thinking about that punishment word, I think that punishment is really a lot of reaction that comes from emotion and comes from how I feel or how I thought they were thinking about it, when it came across. So just like you were saying, like, you didn't think I was hungry versus earlier I did say my stomach hurt, but he could have asked. So then having that conversation, I think that's the accountability factor, is trying to get that positive reaction, versus punishment is like automatically most likely going to have a negative reaction. So just basically trying to have that conversation like, hey, I know I said my stomach hurt earlier and I'm going to let it
Hmm.
slide this time, but next time just ask, or I'm going to be in
Yeah.
here hangry and
Literally.
punishing.
Because all you got to do is ask. Like, the worst I'm going to do is say, no, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
or
and that was
get
like
me
a 5 second.
or get me 6 double cheeseburgers.
That's what I'm saying. It can go either way.
Either way.
But you never know unless you ask.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Elena, you talked about like having that conversation. I think a lot of these tit for tat situations that we find ourselves in sometimes get heated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you feel like, well, not do you feel like, but how do you think you can really actively resolve that? Because I think a lot of people believe that you need to have a full discussion right then and there, and it has to be resolved right then and there. But I think some conversations need a break. Like, if I'm heated and you're in defense mode, this ain't gonna go nowhere.
I think pausing is definitely a great tactic, especially when you feel hurt by something, because sometimes, like you said, you can approach it the wrong way, and then two negative
Mm-hmm.
attitudes is not going to bring a positive reaction. Like math
Mm.
just doesn't, the math doesn't math, right? So you got to take those moments and just say, all right, let me take a deep breath. Let me think about how I'm going to bring this situation up in a positive way, in a calm way. Because sometimes when you don't take that extra minute, it just sounds like you're snapping, right? And
Right.
then it just, creates more hostility. And then again, um, kind of seems more like punishment than accountability and really trying to find that solution. Um, I can definitely see it getting frustrating down the line when you've had a conversation about something multiple times and it's like, okay, well, in what way am I going to get this across to you, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, just deciphering the difference between how am I going to blow this steam off and come back here um, level-headed to make sure that we have a productive conversation.
But I can really selfishly and probably childishly say that in moments like that, I definitely like when I'm upset and it's like the heat of the moment, I always feel like they have to feel my anger. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, and no, I don't want to calm down right now. I don't want to have a productive conversation. I need you to
Yeah.
know why you upset me. But, full circle, it takes intention to really sit
Mm-hmm.
there and try to say, okay, this is not going to help us. So I need
Yeah.
to try to, actively explain the situation and tell them where I'm coming from versus them just trying to think that I'm attacking them. Because back to the whole control aspect that you talked about earlier, if you keep, going at somebody about what they're doing wrong, that also is going to negatively affect the dynamic of the relationship.
Right. I think in the beginning, I really struggled with this because I did want people to, feel my wrath, feel why I'm angry, and along those lines. And I think that that was something that I had to have a sit down talk with Jalen about because I think a lot of times, like me and him will get heated and we'll just go back and forth. And then we realize, like, this is a problem where we're fighting against each other and not fighting the problem itself. And so, like, it had to, like, be a conversation where we're like, okay, take a pause, or if it's over text message, don't respond. Don't respond back for, a little bit and like cool down to where like you can have like a different type of emotion to it. Because tying back into our last episode, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And so I think that was something that I really had to learn in order for the arguments to not seem like I'm doing this out of spite. I'm doing this with ill intent. Like, anything along those lines. And I think that's hard to learn and navigate at first.
Right.
But oh, go ahead, E.
I was saying I agree 100%. But have you guys ever ran into that situation where you don't text back right then and there and they start calling you?
No.
And then it's like,
Yes. Yes.
it's
No.
like I didn't reply because I wasn't ready to have a positive mindset about this. So you calling me is just making me more upset. Now I have to
Hmm.
decline the call. Now you're gonna double text me and say, now you ignore my calls. And it's really like I just need a minute to just take a deep
Oh
breath.
wait, they
Take a
See,
they
deep breath.
wasn't
I'm the
calling you back to back. They actually let you
yes.
text back. Oh yeah, I got that
It's
back to
like
back to back to.
See, at
toxic.
first, I was the person who was doing that. Like, why you decline my call? Let's talk
I
about it.
could I could see that.
So, but I calmed down. I calmed down. Allow the space. I calmed down. But no, I was like that because I was the type of person where it's like, no, I want to get it off my chest now. I want to let you know how I'm feeling now. Like, you need to understand where I'm coming from and know this can't be talked about 20, 30 minutes later.
Yeah, but you see, on the flip side of that, like on a petty standpoint, tit for tat, if you will. When I was in situations like that, And if somebody, took, let's say they took 39 minutes to respond because they were thinking about it, I would take 40 minutes to respond to
Mm,
them. And then if they
yeah.
took 32, I'm taking 33.
Yep.
So I was like one-upping them on that. And looking back on that, that wasn't really helpful. That
Mm-mm.
usually got me in trouble every time. So, like, because they usually noticed. So I'm like, hey, like, you're busy, I'm busy, we're thinking, so my bad. Then I'm gonna
Yep.
gaslight them, but that's next, different episode. But
I haven't done that in
Exactly.
so long. Just
Same.
like me and my husband been together for 5 years.
mhm.
The petty stuff we do is like, seriously, seriously, like,
Yeah,
be for real. Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely remember those days of like, okay, fine, D&D. Now you got the little notification.
Ooh.
You got the little notification on the text message saying this person's notifications are silenced. Yeah, take that. How about that?
And you know what? I would wait until I saw that they read my message. Boom, D&D. Like, so I know that they're sitting on the text message and they see it pop up.
See, I guess I'm just naturally petty because my phone is both on D&D and I have my reds on. So you'll know when I'm ignoring you.
Yeah, you are
Sorry.
naturally petty. I agree.
He said I'm transparent. You can see right through me.
Hey, I'm just being Cammy. It is what it is.
Hey.
But I think the two main things about that whole punishment and accountability thing is like when you're trying to hold someone accountable, it's a calm conversation that usually ends with a positive reaction and understanding between both parties versus like when you're punishing or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
reacting emotionally, you won't get a positive reaction from yourself or the person you're trying to hash it out with, right? So I think that in these moments of scorekeeping and tit for tat, or even just your spouse doing something you don't like, you have to think about it in a way to where, hey, how can we discuss this with a positive result versus a negative result? And even if you see it going
Mm-hmm.
south halfway through, just say, take a step back and say, hey, I'm not trying to beat you with a stick.
Yeah.
I just want, to come to an understanding. So let's take a step back. Let's recap what we've already talked about and move forward with this in a positive way. So I think that that positive reaction is the most important part when it comes to that accountability measure.
So it's kind of
Yeah.
again like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
So
All comes back to
because
that.
that's what I'm saying. Like that just seems like such a common denominator because I feel like people so easily get defensive. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I wasn't even trying to say all that. But it's almost like a natural reaction. I don't know if it's just like I don't even want to say like I know they call or they say like generational trauma, but I almost want to
Mm.
say like society trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be defensive, I'm not coming at you with a stick. So like Elena
Mm-hmm.
said, but it's I feel like you have to be okay leading your relationship in that aspect. Like you have to be okay taking that step forward and maybe like even helping them kind of analyze, the reaction or it could even be a bigger conversation like, "Hey, why did you think I was coming for you?" or "Why did you
Mm-hmm.
get so defensive so quick?" Because whatever that underlying answer is could probably help you avoid that conversation in the future. But again, that takes
Yeah.
intention and maturity.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking on that of like, breaking that, how would you guys like describe or like give advice to somebody who wants to break that cycle of scorekeeping? Like for me, I think it's definitely like choosing like this is not just me, 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 me in a relationship. I think it's definitely like, okay, we are a team. We need to do teamwork. And like this is a problem that we are both facing, not facing each other. Like how are we going to go to this problem together to be able to reduce that tit for tat mindset?
Right. I
What
think
about
it's
y'all?
just having that we over me. And
Hmm.
then recognizing the difference between task for task and then helping someone unload their mental. Because at the end of the day, something we've already discussed in episode 1 is sometimes it's not 50-50. It's
Mm-hmm.
40-60, 70-30, all the way down to 100-0 at points in time. So sometimes, like, you have to learn your partner in a way that you understand, okay, he came home and he seemed like there's a stick up his butt. Let me go ahead and just take care of his chores, or,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're in a generation of texting, right? You guys probably just like me can tell when someone's mood is off in a text, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just based off, we talk every day via text while we're working, I could tell something's wrong. Let me pick up a little bit extra, make sure dinner's ready by the time they get home.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear the car pulling up, run them a hot bath or shower or whatever the case may be.
All right,
Okay,
Elena, come over here.
y'all
Okay,
ain't never,
Yes.
Destiny's Child.
y'all ain't never turned the shower on for your man?
No.
No.
Oh,
He beats
Wait,
me.
no, I have. I have. But he was already in the house.
He beats me home. So
well,
no.
I know I've come home and like he knows I've had a bad day and like the room will be clean, the bed will be made, he'll have my
Mm-hmm.
PJs on the counter and like I'm walking in the door and he's like, "Are you ready to take a shower?" And when I go in to take a
Yes.
shower, my stuff's already all set up for me. And that feels
Oh,
good. That
Good
yeah.
job, Dwayne.
Literally.
that
Keep
feels
doing it.
good. And that's something that like I can say he read how I was feeling that day and just wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
something a little bit extra. And yeah, I think that has helped us overcome some of the negative like tit for tat things that we've done like we've had in the past just because it's like okay, he does think about me more than just I have to come home and do these chores as soon as I get off
Mm-hmm.
work. He got off before me. He's trying to take a little bit of the load off my shoulders and help me enjoy my night better than my day was.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie. If I walk in the door and I see a sink full of dishes, but you got my PJs ready for me, I might ignore the dishes. I might let that one go.
Yeah,
So that would solve a
exactly.
lot, actually. But I think, I mean, me personally, and I think I'm a victim of it. Or I don't know if victim is the right word, but I know for a fact that I would benefit a lot if I would just pause, like in a
Mm.
conversation and walk away and then try to
Mm-hmm.
come back. Because I feel like if I give you my first initial authentic reaction, it's gonna go downhill. You
Yeah,
don't
but
want
Very
that.
fast.
some people don't handle that right. Like,
Like the pause.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
like, because I can just say from personal experience, if we're arguing and I feel like I'm gonna say something that I'm gonna regret and I walk away, he's like, "You always want to walk away." And I'm like, "Do you want me to say what I'm thinking or do you want me to go clear my mind and come back fresh?" And
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
like, I've learned that I just need to just hold on a second, sit in that moment face to face, like revisit it right there versus the whole disconnect and walk away because um that bothers people. Like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of childish if you think about it. If you
I
can't
mean,
pause right there and just say, "Hey, let's start from the top," or "Hey, let's stop where we're at and review some of the things we've discussed and come to agreement before we keep going down and down and down and not finding a solution." Because sometimes, I see us going back and forth and it's like we're not getting anywhere. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need to rehash a couple things before we move forward.
Right.
and I mean, I get that to a certain extent because yes, I understand that some people may not be able to handle it, that well. And been in situations where they did not handle the pause before. And I've learned that in that
Mm-hmm.
moment, I need to say, hey, I'm with you. I'm in this. I understand what you're bringing to me. And I really do want us to resolve this. But I feel like I'm at a mental space to where I don't think I can be the most productive in this conversation to really
Right.
help us fix this in a healthy capacity. So I just need 5 minutes to step outside, clear my head, gather my thoughts. So I make sure I say what I really want to say versus just the first thing that comes to mind with me being flustered because people get
Yeah.
flustered. So the first thing you say is not always the best. So I think it's not doing the pause, it's really how you handle the pause. If you just
Mm-hmm.
throw your hands up and just turn around and walk out, or they try to walk back in 10 minutes later, like, all right, let's try again. Hell no.
Yeah.
Like, you just turned your back on me. Turn it right back. So,
Turn right
no,
back
you,
around.
that's what I'm saying. But you have to communicate what you're doing. You can't
Yeah.
just do it. So, doing that, I've gotten healthy reactions. Sometimes I can pause
Mm-hmm.
in the moment. If it's like a little small problem, fine. I can pause in the moment and gather my thoughts. But if it's a make or break conversation, or if it's, the 10th conversation on the same topic, I might need a second. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that walk away, that fresh air, that grounding yourself can be very productive if you handle it correctly.
And
Yeah.
it's all about knowing your partner too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and knowing that sometimes I get flustered, I even tell my partner, like at the beginning of a relationship, like, hey, sometimes I get in my head, sometimes my brain moves faster than my mouth. Sometimes I just need to step away for a second. So I never mean any disrespect. I'm never disconnecting from you. I'm trying to connect with you by doing that. So I hope that
Yeah.
you can understand that. And giving that, notice, that's worked pretty well.
Yeah. I definitely think like having that moment, creating like a safe space, I think is huge, especially like when trying to take a step away, because I feel like if you are not in a safe space where you feel like you can take a break or anything along those lines, it's going to negatively impact you. And I think it's definitely important to create that on both ends. You can't expect it for your partner and then you not give it to them. Like, I think it goes both ways. And I think in those moments, like, back in when I was like dating, I would be like, well, I get that you want to give me space, but I need you to answer me now. Like, I think definitely like allowing it for both sides and not just one side is really huge in order for that safe space to be successful for, hey, let's just pause, walk away, and do it for both.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be so honest with you. I mean, Kimmy, from what you just said, in one of my relationships, we had a disagreement, and he tried to take the space to gather his thoughts to really, come back in a positive manner. But I forced the conversation right
Hmm.
then and there, and it ended the relationship
Yeah.
because I didn't allow him that capacity to gather himself. And I feel like that's a boundary. Like
Hmm.
that just goes along with respecting your partner's boundaries. So that
Yeah.
can lead to the demise of y'all's relationship.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very different in marriage though. Like
That's true because, death row.
where are you gonna
So,
go? Like if you don't come back and sleep in this bed tonight, be ready to find some paperwork.
Oh,
yeah. Usher, I'm ready to sign them papers. hmm
no, I think I've just made it clear, like, especially like to Jayla, like if we get into an argument or anything, when we were picking at our couch, I told him, I said, find something that's comfy for you to sleep in case we get into arguments. But find something that's comfy, 'cause
Yeah.
you ain't going nowhere. We ain't
I
getting
messed up with
divorced.
that.
We ain't doing nothing. You better find a couch that is comfy. And
See, you see this big couch back there? Now he ain't got no problem starting arguments. He can't wait to sleep on that couch. I made a mistake with that.
exactly. See, I made the mistake because then he would be like, well, my PS5's in the living room. Dang it.
See? Snip, snip, cutting the cords. You ain't playing nothing.
Like, dang it.
I think another thing that could break the cycle of that tit for tat behavior is like not only prioritizing time for yourself, but
Hmm.
prioritizing that one on one time for you and your partner. And then
Hmm.
maybe even prioritizing like having a social life. So, like, I've heard of like a 3-3-3 rule where it's like 3 hours a week you spend at least that one on one time with your partner, 3 hours a week you find some time to spend alone, and then three
Hmm.
hours a week you find some time to spend with friends or family apart from your partner. Because especially early in relationships, like you guys don't know how to, not you guys, but people don't know how to handle being around each other 25/8 Like as soon as
Hmm.
I get off work and I walk in the door, I have to see your face. And that's not
Yeah.
something I'm used to. Now we're going on 6 months of back and forth because I haven't made time to be myself. And a lot of people will say, well, I'm not who I was when I met you, or, I just don't feel like myself. Those are things that often come up in relationships within that first year. And it's like, but are you prioritizing yourself, or are you just trying to please your partner? Are you
Hmm.
prioritizing your relationship and that one on one time where you can just let everything go and focus on the things that you guys like to do? And then, do you still have friends? Do you still talk to
Hmm.
your family members? Because a lot of the times when you disconnect from your world that you had before you were in a relationship, that causes damage to your mental health, and
Yeah.
again makes you just not feel like you're the same person that you were when you met. And it's just because you're not prioritizing all the pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah. And I definitely think that's crucial, especially like in any type of like scenario where you're first dating, married, just had a kid, or anything along those lines, because you want to be able to still feel like your individual self, right? You still want to have like this is who I am. I need this time. Let's spend this time together to also prioritize, because I think if you don't prioritize your relationship with your partner or with your friends, like you said, like it definitely takes a toll on like your mental state, and it just makes you more feel like isolated or anything along those lines. So I definitely think that that is huge to have those like boundaries of time together throughout the week.
Yeah, because take it from somebody who just got married and just had a baby. When I tell you
Hmm.
that my sense of self went right out the door, it left.
Hmm.
So I had to realize recently, like, yo, I need to take some time for myself, but also our marriage needs some TLC. So
Hmm.
we need to like do movie nights. Let's go on walks together. Thankfully, we have been. Me, I'm like, let's go visit my grandma. Like, let's go to the store. Let's go to Starbucks. Like, let's just go do something. So my me
Yeah.
time and my we time. But you have to be very intentional about that because I was noticing like when my entire focus was just him or like just the baby, I was watching like his task and what he was doing like a hawk. And that was
Hmm.
really aiding in that tit for tat behavior. And it just wasn't good.
And then
Wasn't good at all.
you start feeling like a control freak, and you're like, how did I get here?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So just definitely taking that step back and thinking about, okay, this is not who I want to be. How do I get back to myself? And, just like you said, whether it is taking a walk together or going to Starbucks, or hell, go walk around Walmart and see if they have any cute $5 leggings. What
Yeah.
whatever you want
Exactly.
to do, just finding that time to just not stare at the four walls of your house and the baby.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Love the baby, love the four walls. But sometimes I want to see the baby under a different lens. Like, let's go get under the sun.
Yeah.
So,
I think that another way to break, the scorekeeping cycle is um, finding balance, whether
Mm.
that's recognizing strengths and weaknesses, or likes and dislikes. Um, for example, you guys know we talked about this on the last episode. I dislike scraping cereal off the bowl. He dislikes pouring the cereal out of the bowl. So it's kind of like, you're going to do the dishes. So, but definitely, I think like, obviously, like cutting the grass, like a man's not going to like that, but a
Hmm.
woman's probably not just going to be like, yeah, let me cut the grass unless it's a riding lawnmower, right? Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I know women that cut the grass. I don't have nothing against it, but it's just not
I'm
my.
not doing it.
I'd rather sit in the house with the kid and keep him out your way, right?
I'll do it only in my garden. My backyard, that's Jalen's task. That ain't my task. Nope. He
I'm not
gets to
touching
pick
the
up
lawnmower.
after he gets to pick up after our dogs. I will do the garden. That is fine.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll even poop scoop to not have to mow the yard.
I ain't doing neither. Y'all tripping.
Actually,
This is why you don't have animals.
exactly.
Hey, that's fine. A husband and a baby is enough. I don't need
That's valid.
animals. Y'all tripping.
Until she's like, mommy, I want a dog.
Go ask one of your aunties.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
She gonna have a dog the next day. What are you talking
Literally
At
about?
y'all's house. That she
at
visits
yours.
at y'all's house. No, y'all.
We're gonna ship it to your house.
And I'm gonna return to sender. But yeah, E, finding that balance definitely does make a difference. So I
Hmm.
like your whole, compromise with the dishes. I feel like I'm having to figure out a lot of compromising right now because we ain't both gonna be happy with every task. Like
Hmm.
we can't both be pleased. We ain't gonna like the outcome, but it's gotta get done.
Hmm. I definitely think like we have, I wouldn't say mastered our compromise just now, but we have definitely became stronger in our compromise of like, okay, I'll do certain chores, he'll do certain chores. So that way we can both seem happy just because I hate putting away clothes. So I'm the type of person that will let them just sit and stack. I know where it is. I know where to grab it from, but he doesn't like that look. So like he's made it to a point where like, okay, he does laundry, I do dishes. Like we've just tried to pick and choose what do we like the most, and then our least favorite ones, how can we tackle this together? So I definitely think like finding that balance of like at least like your big major like chores that will definitely have an impact, like dirty dishes, laundry all over the house, stuff like that. Little tasks can be, done in 5 seconds, but I think finding a compromise on those bigger tasks is definitely a lot easier and takes a mental load off.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, there's been so many times where I'll get irritated that the dishes are still in the sink. He hasn't done them, so I just do them myself. And I'm like, dang, that took like 7.5 minutes. That was easy.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, that's all it is. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this my chore. That
Yep.
wasn't that bad.
Can't hate it.
Yeah. But you get caught in that emotional reaction first. You're just so pissed off that they didn't do it. But
Mhm.
Buki, if you would just sit back a second and compromise and do it yourself, it really didn't take that long. So all
Nope.
you did was play two songs in your ear. You're done.
Exactly. I
That was
started
it.
romanticizing it by like turning on like a throwback playlist and just having my fun while scrubbing the dishes. Like, let's
That's what I'm
just get it
saying.
together.
I've
No,
been
I'm sitting.
go ahead.
No, nothing important.
I've been throwing on a little audiobook. Then it's like he definitely not gonna come in here and listen to this. Now I can be in the kitchen doing what I need to do with the audiobook by myself.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
alone time. Got it.
Not be interrupted.
Hmm.
Hey, individuality. That could be a part of it.
Other than, our accountabilities and punishments, um, and like our scorekeeping, I definitely think like tying back into scorekeeping is like from what we've learned, just based off of us talking, is definitely like an emotional reaction, right? That just stems off of like our ego wanting to just stand out and just be like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. Let's go tit for tat in this type of aspect. But that's not productive for any type of relationship, especially like when you're in the beginning stages of a relationship or of a marriage, just because that doesn't build for a lasting marriage and it doesn't build for a strong marriage. Like that essentially puts cracks into your foundation. So I definitely think it's harmful in that aspect of scorekeeping. Um, and I think it's all about just finding that balance of like, how can we do this more effectively and how can we do this more positively for each other, and allowing that space. What do you guys think?
I agree. I mean, we are grown. So I know us here, we're mid 20s. Like, we've been doing this for a while. I know, like, our marriages are under 10 years, but still, like, we are doing
Hmm.
this. We have to be intentional. So, being intentional sometimes just means thinking outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, if we want the marriage, we want everything to go the distance, we have to put in that work. And this is what comes with it. Scorekeeping, that's just feeding our ego. We gotta let that go. We gotta let
Hmm.
that go.
Yeah. No need to just be walking around like I'm big dog. I'm big dog.
Exactly.
No point. Just like we've been talking about, take a step back, find yourself, figure out what you're good at, what they're good at, and then go from there. Go halfsies on the ones that neither of you like.
Yeah.
I think for us, the biggest chore that we have that doesn't get done as often as we'd like is like deep cleans in the bathrooms. And it's like twice a month, we're like, all right, let's get the bleach. You got that one, I got this one.
Yeah.
Rub them. But yeah, just like you said, you know, do that we over me is the main thing that contributes to a healthy relationship and keeping away from that tit for tat scorekeeping. But I got a question for the homegirls. What's your experience with tit tat behavior, and what do you think can help avoid that scorekeeping in the early stages of the move-in stage of the relationship? So drop a comment, let us know, hit us up on Instagram, Facebook. You know, we're on YouTube, Spotify,
Yeah.
anything you can think of, you'll find us
TikTok.
there. TikTok, DM us, comment, like, subscribe, hit us up, and share with all your other home girlies. But to wrap it up today, we love our home girls, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Bye.
Bye.